All right, we are live. Good deal. Okay, so welcome to this live. It is February 18th, and this is the trading journal that I'm doing today about the trades that I have. And you can see right behind me, this is the dashboard. You can see my drawdown over here. No, over there. Yeah, that way. I think. Is it right there? Yeah. So that drawdown, no, over there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm watching myself. So you can see the drawdown and it's kind of moving up, which is much better than it was. I have been in a drawdown since November, and you can see that this has been a very difficult time to trade for me. And I think there's been a couple of things that have been going on in my personal life as well as my professional life. And I'm also really scared of this administration. I'm really, really scared for those of us who are not fans of this administration and who are being targeted by this administration. AOC was just threatened with, being put in prison by some old guy who can barely speak. He probably can't even figure out where his genitals are. He looks so huge. It's amazing to me that these people are running this country and targeting people like myself who, or anyone else who says anything that could potentially be misconstrued as being freedom of speech, I guess. So we don't have that anymore. Um, I thought that was a constitutional right, but I guess that's been taken away, as well as our healthcare and the CFPB that has helped 20 million or more Americans to dispute their credit and keep the fees down from all of the egregious banks and these predatory lenders like Ally, who charge, credit card rates for car loans so that they can keep you in debt. And that's how they make their money. So that said, today's trades, let's get on with it, because that's obviously a better and much more interesting topic for me to talk about than it is this other topic, which I am not only less than thrilled about, but I never voted for this creep in office and his wife, Mrs. Musk. So that said, today's trades were decent. I had one or two losses. I can't remember. I think I had two losses. Where am I? And one, 5 wins. So I don't think the other loss is showing here on my recent trades, but yeah, it shows only one. So that is where you can see, I think, is it here? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if that's, yeah, there it is. So you can see that there's like one loss, but there's another loss that's bigger. So I had gotten into a trade. This is kind of funny. I gotten into a trade today in a different account because I have two combine accounts, and I got into the trade and I didn't know I was in it, and it was a short, and I stayed in it and I made great money. I wish I had done that with the rest of my trades. Although I did, make some okay money today. I think it was just under 1,000 that I made. So my goal is 1,000 a day, and I just made under that, I believe. And it was a nice day to feel like, all right, this is actually working for me. So one of the trades that I had was this trade I got in short, and I'm looking at it right now, and this is so funny. I got in short at like 94,775, and I let it ride all the way down to 93,745. So almost, almost 1,000, and I did, or a little bit over, and I did 500 on that trade. So here's the thing though, is that I didn't even know I was in the trade, and I see it and I'm like, what the heck? So I cut it, but I wished I had cut it where the wick had gone down. This was the wick at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Central. So it would have been 11 Pacific. And that wick went down to, let's see, what was the low on that wick? It was about 93,306. So that would have, that would have been freaking fantastic, right? I mean, another $200, that would have been like 700. But I did not. And I ended up going to this other account just to make sure like I had gotten, all of my exports, and I was in the trade. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in this trade. And it had just come back up. Like the next candle would have taken me out of that trade. And I wouldn't have even made any money. But this is so great. I did make, I did make a decent amount today. And I felt really good about that because it's been such a bad drawdown in the past couple months, or since November, really, when I started trading MBT. I really went into this drawdown, and it was just such a hard, it's been so hard to, even though people are, oh, it's so simple. It's really not simple. And it's really a process in knowing how to forecast into something that I don't have a lot of not just a lot of knowledge, because I've only been trading since July of 2024, but knowledge in this specific space of futures and Bitcoin. So this was a trade that, had I, honestly, I got in and I probably went out of the money for the next candle. After I got in, I went out of the money, and then I came back in the money, and I was in the money for one hour, 2.5 hours. And so it would have been great had I been watching that trade, but I wasn't. So this was but it actually worked out really well because I gained 500 in that account. And that helps because you have to make your first, there are different combine accounts, but I'm going for the $50,000 combine account, which means you have to make 3,000 in order to get XFA. And that 3,000 could take you a month. It could take you 2 weeks. It depends on how good you're trading. So a lot of people, are, that I see are the bro dude guys, and I don't listen to them. I don't even follow them because they're just, the ego and it's such a turn off. So what I do is I go into my coach that I have, and you can go onto my site. It's the WorthyofSuccess.ai site, and you can see the coach that I use. I do not get affiliate compensation for that whatsoever. It's just a link to her program. And she is a great coach. She teaches supply and demand. So it's more of a commodities, or actually, yeah, it's COMEX and futures. But you want to look at that if you are considering like a very high end and technical supply and demand. I think it's one of the best courses that I've taken, and she's really thorough. So it really helps. So it helps me anyway to understand the supply and demand, which I really like. So I was watching gold today in sympathy of what's happening with Bitcoin, and it seemed like gold was stuck at a high today. Let me just get that up here. So gold was stuck at this high today, and it just, I lost money on this on this trade, and I was really bummed. It ended up going above the Q high, and the Q high for what I show on my charts was 2945.3. So now it's trading up at the 2955 area, and we've got a red candle. Tokyo took it up into the 30-minute. They just took it up from 2949 to about 2957, so almost $10. I think with the wick it's $10. So it looks like it's going to be, sitting in this area of 2949 into 2957 for a little while. So that's the same thing that's happening with Bitcoin. over in my area, over in Tokyo. So Bitcoin's at this area of 95,415, but it went under 95 today, and it went significantly under 95 today. So that shows that we've kind of exhausted that range, I think, of up into the 96s. So I don't know if it's going to hit that 96 range again, but it could, with London, it might just do that. Who knows? Um, I don't know. But this was the one, two, three, four. This is like the fifth time it's hung out in the area of 95,400 since, or sixth time since like February 11th. So it's hanging out in this area and it just kind of meanders in and out. But today there was a significant drop into the 93 range, the 93,375 range, and then back up. So there was a big downtrend. And I wouldn't say big like humongous. It was, let's see, let's measure this here. It was about 2.3% when we all uh, actually a little bit more from the beginning of the day, and let's say 6:30, it was a 3.4% move, which is actually quite good. I mean, considering that, we've been getting these 1% moves, and it's not so simple to make money in those 1% moves. You have to really move down the timeline into that 5-minute timeline so that you're just scalping. So this was a good trade. If you got in, and I did not, which I kind of kicked myself. If you got in at that 96,680 area at the top when it opened at the 96,665 at 6:30 this morning or 8:30 this morning Central, then you did very well on that short. You did very well on that short. I mean, that's a 3.5, almost 3.4% to the bottom. So for those of you who are in it, congratulations. That was freaking awesome. And I did not. I got in probably like around the 95 area. And then it went back up. It wicked up and I was out of the money for a little bit. And then I came back in. So I kind of screwed up. I was a little too early to this party. There are three 30-minute candles that started at 7:30, and 8. And those three 30-minute candles were really short and they were just kind of figuring out which way they were going to go. And then it decided to go on the downside. So the PSAR had already flipped, and on the 30-minute, it had flipped on the 5-minute as well. So at that point, I knew to get in, but I missed that 6:30 candle this morning, and I kind of, mused myself over it, like, oh, what did I do? But then I'm thinking, you know what? I did okay. I'm all right. I did fine today. So that felt good to come out in the green, even though I had a couple of losses. I still came out in the green today. So you can check that out. And I'm a little whitewashed here because I'm wearing white and these lights are pretty bright and I'm in a white background. So if I look like really washed out, that's why I look like really washed out. Um, I hope this helps people who are learning how to trade. I don't even know if it hits anybody, to tell you the truth. I mean, these are so new and so they're not as polished and professional and sexy and like flying in and out and all these mansions and everything else. So I don't do all that stuff. Even if I had the money, I would not be doing that stuff. That would not be me. My intention is to go to more more meditation conferences, to tell you the truth, and to sit in meditation. I mean, my real dream is to help businesses to start their compliance when they start their business, so that they're able to keep their business going and not have to worry about, am I in compliance, or am I saying the right thing? And that's one of my goals. But the real goal with this trading, honestly, is to get to a 30-day meditation where I'm literally off the charts for 30 days. Like I'm not even, no internet, no phone, no nothing. And 30 days straight silence, that's really kind of where I want to be, so that I can work through all of the noise in my head sometimes. There's a lot of noise that we have to listen to, and we're all a part of it. And it seems like no matter where you turn, there is always something that's really, really bad news. And it's like too much anymore. So it would be great to get into 30 days of silence in the middle of a beautiful space that would overlook mountains or water. That would be great, wouldn't it? So there's a dream for you. Anyway, in the midst of all this, as I muse into meditation, in the midst of all this, one of the things that I see for myself in trading MBT is I see that there is a good fair value gap below us. And according to what I'm seeing on my charts, and especially on the 4 hour chart where I'm actually looking over here. If you see me looking, I'm like over this way. There is some fair value gap above today for the daily. It's like I don't know, 96,480. That's where fair value gap started. And that's because the 4 hour candle today at the very beginning of the day was just massive. And it started at about 96,205 and it went down to 94,086. So about, a couple grand. And now it's meandering back up and just redoing itself, I guess, whatever you call it. But the interesting part about this is that the 4 hour candle at, I think it was 12 noon, so 10 o'clock in the morning, was a double bottom. And that opened at 94,090, and the 4 hour bearish closed at 94,085. So there was a really nice double bottom there. So you knew for a fact that there was going to be a move back upwards. And that was my trigger to just get out of everything, because the longs, it's for me, I'm not a real good longer. I'm better at shorting. So I didn't know, how long the long would go. You know what I mean? Like it goes up and then it retraces, and then it goes up and then it retraces. So you have to have a lot of stop loss when you go in long, or you've got to be pretty sure that that thing is going to just take off. So that 4 hour candle at 10 a.m. was actually a pretty nice candle. And I knew at that time, after the 8 o'clock candle closed at 10 a.m., I was like, okay, I'm done. I know this is not going to be, it's not going to go down any further. So I timed it well today. I was really proud of myself for doing that. So that was a good thing. But I do think tomorrow we do have that fair value gap up to the 96 area, 96.4 area. I think it will definitely take that out. But as far as exhaustion of this range, I think we're really exhausted in the range of like 96 and above. And we've just hit through this, like it's just been playing in this area between 90, 99 to 96 for a long time. And we had a big drop after that push up into the hundreds, the 106 area. But that was enough. Like it was like, okay, we're done. So I think we are headed back down a little bit right now, which is good. It's just recapitulating and reworking the market. So that's kind of interesting. So we'll see what happens. I am definitely going to be waking up very early tomorrow to see how London takes this and where it takes it. With the current economy, I think this is a big time to be looking at the Forex exchange and the commodities and also the futures, and seeing where things are going. Forex definitely is, I wish I could trade it, but I can't on the prop firm. But Forex, I've seen some really big moves in USDT, USDC, and Bitcoin and Ethereum. I also think with these, crappy coins that are coming out, like this Dogecoin and all this other that has no use cases, I think those are really good for people who are great at just like shorting it quickly or longing it quickly and then getting out. So that said, I've got to get moving, and thanks a lot for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow and have a great night. I look forward to getting these videos out more and more. I really like doing this. It's just a great thing for me to do for my journaling, and it helps to understand the markets better. I'm going to try to get better at it, though, really good at it. Okay. Talk to you soon, guys. I'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Bye.